It is another interesting edition of the Economy and Politics Show where we bring you key economic developments as it affects the households. This edition will continue to monitor the developments in the economy, and that's why we're discussing how SMEs are navigating the rising costs of electricity and fuel in Nigeria. A phenomenon not just in Nigeria, but globally, but how does it affect us here? Our guest today is Mr. Ayo-Bankole Akintujoye, the convener of the Lagos SME Bootcamp, one that has shown huge interest and support in developing entrepreneurship in Nigeria. Nice to have you on the program, Mr. Ayo.
Hi, Otto. It's always nice to be here.
Yes. Thank you very much. And before we begin this discourse, let us give you some stories from last week, what happened in the economy. The first is that the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria held its March 2022 meeting. At the end of it, the Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, announced that it had retained the monetary policy rate at 11.5%. Other parameters remained unchanged. Also last week, President Muhammadu Buhari described the Dangote fertilizer urea plant as a game changer that will support Nigeria's agriculture sector, create jobs, increase the inflow of foreign exchange, and boost the nation's competitiveness. He made this point while commissioning the $2.5 billion facility, the largest in Africa, in Ibeju-Lekki, Lagos. It has the capacity now to produce 3 million metric tons per annum. We go on a break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation.
Tune in to Web TV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content. Watch Web TV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back. If you're joining us, it's the Economy and Politics Show, and we are looking at the challenges, the socioeconomic challenges, how the SME is navigating the rising cost of electricity and fuel in Nigeria. Our guest is Mr. Ayo-Bankole Akintujoye. He's the convener of the Lagos SME Bootcamp. So, Mr. Ayo, let's begin with the fact that you're in touch with the SMEs, a lot of them in your network. And from your position, what are the pain points that you're getting from the businesses during this challenging time?
Thank you, Otto. Thank you again for everything that you guys are doing for the MSME community, specifically the help that you rendered to Lagos SME Bootcamp over the years. We're going to be 5 years this year, and we look forward to greater collaboration.
And keep it up.
Thank you. So, I mean, look, we've had multiple conversations or ongoing conversations with members of our community, because at this critical time, a lot of people are reaching out to say, oh, we're in this trouble, this is happening with our costs. And right now, what is on the plate of everybody is power. It is a double tragedy. In fact, triple tragedy, right? The national grid has collapsed. We now do about 2,000 megawatts from 5,000 plus. Diesel has more than doubled from 288 naira, between 288 to 320 in January, is now at well over 750, right? That's about from 75 cents to about 1.7, almost $2 per liter, right? Inflation is also shooting up, and the third leg of sources of power is petrol, right? Which, of course, the price is still constant, but then it has been unavailable for almost 2 months now. In fact, what do I mean by the price is constant? There are fuel stations in Abuja. Yeah, exactly. Various types of prices. There are stations right there in Abuja that sell about 200 naira per liter. There are stations in Abuja that sell about 260, 250. And so it's crazy. So on every control mechanism to provide electricity, the prices have gone up. Even the guys who fix inverters, batteries have gone up because of imports. Those who are the labor costs have gone up. So a lot of MSMEs are groaning, under the pain. Some businesses are affected directly, some indirectly. is a complete chaos. And of course, the associated cost with that, you're unable to meet market demand. So inability to meet market demand is another complaint going on now. Overall costs, it affects other operating costs. Revenues are shrinking because people are now spending more on power, devaluation. At the same time, dollar is constantly devaluing. The war is affecting a lot of other things. So revenues are generally shrinking. Insecurity is increasing. So people are spending more on security. Businesses are losing stuff on the highway. Transporting goods from the north, especially for those in agri, is becoming worse by the day. Multiple taxation. You see, I can't remember. There was a company, that just went to, I can't remember now, in Lagos, somewhere in Ikeja. They protested at the Lagos Assembly, and they sealed the Lagos Assembly's entrance. Yes, it's the logistics companies, the bike men. They sealed the national. Yeah, they sealed the state assembly because they were protesting multiple levies and taxation. So these are some of the issues, and it's not looking better at all.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's really, really a huge pain point. And part of this interesting development is that even the large enterprises, the big boys, you call them, have also been complaining. So up in the aviation industry, and there had to be some level of intervention. You've seen even what's happening. Billionaires. I mean, last edition I discussed with my guest, I talked about the billionaire who had to even share the challenges that his staff are facing. And considering that particular billionaire has operations in his financial leg of his conglomerates of over 400 branches, you can imagine the challenge of cost. So definitely it's a trying time, and these are things that have to be taken seriously into consideration on how it can be addressed. So now it's the challenge is that this thing is lingering, and various sectors have complained about it. So what are the implications if it continues like this? Because already, I mean, last week you saw that MultiChoice said they're going to increase their charges for GoTV and DSTV. They're passing the cost to the consumers. Definitely, we expect the CCPC to intervene in that. But if others keep doing this, it's going to really affect even the households much.
Yeah, I mean, so of course there will be already, there's cost push inflation, right? There are two primary types of inflation. There's the demand pull, but this one now is a cost push because input materials across all value points are increasing. So naturally, costs are generally increasing, and then that's driving inflation up. We were already celebrating steady decline in inflation, and then between February and January, we now have increase in inflation, and I do not expect anything else by the time we have data for March. And then if you also look sector by sector, manufacturing, especially a few days ago, a member of our community was speaking at the conference that she's had to shut down production for a few days because of diesel. And then now she's back up, and she's cut down her production timelines by a quarter. A few days ago, we saw one of the largest 4 banks say that they were going to reduce their their working hours. Yeah. We saw a radio station that put it on Twitter that they were shutting down all night. We also saw I mean, this is revenue. This is airtime that is going off. This is revenue that people are losing. If you also look at energy, even the global energy sector is being affected because of the war. Because of the war in Russia, crude oil prices now about $110. Unfortunately, Nigeria cannot still smite the bank because production cuts are there. We are not even meeting production quota because of the security issues, which has increased. There are a lot of oil and gas companies in Nigeria that haven't even lifted oil since last year, right? And you were mentioning the billionaire that complained. I don't even think that his complaint was really from his experience in the financial sector. The gentleman we are talking about here is, he recently invested into the oil and gas space, and you would know, of course, that that's one of the sectors that, directly feel the pain when it comes to insecurity. Yeah. He also has stake in energy. Yeah, he has stake in energy. He owns one of the generating companies. So this entire shutdown of the national grid, of course, would have pinched him directly. And then he has other interests. Look at even his hotel conglomerate will probably be the most hit. Will probably be the most hit in terms of diesel. So, so you can see there's no, gone are those days when you say, oh, let me just bam and chill with the big boys, and I can isolate myself from the problem going on in the country. Right now, everybody is being hit. The small boys are dying completely. The big boys are shrinking in their assets. They're shrinking in their income. They're shrinking in their reach, and in their impact. And to be honest, look at logistics. The guy in logistics, they are complaining bitterly. There's the already comatose storage window that exists for producers and players has already collapsed, because diesel is not even available to store. Naturally, power is the primary thing you need to store. People create alternative power, and now there's no diesel to back it up. There's no petrol, so it's just confusion. Look at the airspace, for example, right? Chaos everywhere. They had to. In fact, right now there are not what's it called? There's socialism in the airspace. Tickets are now being it's very scarce. You can't even get flights, not because they are booked, but because airlines would rather not be flying because there's scarcity of fuel and the cost and all that. So it's a complete madhouse. It's a complete madhouse, and it will continue to get worse if things are not immediately put in check.
So what can we really do? What can we do, Mr. Ayo, to address this? Because already last week, some of our sister media platforms in the print talked about the fact that with the devaluation, like you mentioned, a lot of jobs could be lost, businesses shut down. You talk about a colleague in the manufacturing shutting down a plant and again starting up again. Definitely, the staff won't be as much as before. I mean, this is where government needs to strategize and provide relief measures. I was even speaking about, should we explore a tax regime, the 10%, 30% reduction? What other measures must be taken now to save SMEs, who are the key drivers of the economy? Because if they transfer the cost to consumers, if they shut down operations, we'll start seeing unemployment, we'll start seeing rising additional costs that totally affects the economy.
Okay, so in terms of solutions, there are short and medium-term solutions, right? And remember that some of the problems we are facing right now are our own problems. Some of it are global. Recently, you saw that there were mass protests in Spain over increasing cost of power, exactly, and gas and all of that. So even in the US, prices are going up all over the world, right? So for those, there are shared problems because of the crisis in Ukraine. However, some of them are also internally generated problems. So I think that in the immediate, there should be waivers. There should be complete waivers on taxation, all forms of taxation for MSMEs. If you make less than 100 million per annum, there should be complete waiver on taxes for you, so that at least you can save some of the income that would have gone out. At least it may not be complete, but at least you get back. You will be able to recoup some of your additional expenses that you must have spent on power. So that is in the short term. I also think that there needs to be reliefs, right? Especially for identified sectors, agriculture, production, those who play in the real sector. We need to find a way to support them, right? Those who play in the real estate sector, who have contributed to providing decent, housing and alternative energy power sources, we need to support them, right? Either it will be providing gas, to them, or providing diesel supply. There needs to be a channel that supports MSMEs. There needs to be tax waivers. There also needs to be, in the medium to long term, we need to fix our overall energy infrastructure. That is the only solution, right? We have a huge energy deposits in terms of solar, right? We have solar, we have gas. We're the world's largest flare of gas, right? We need to redirect all of those gas into productive energy. We cannot continue, and look at it. If you forecast, if you look at the nearest future now, look at where President Buhari went to visit a few days ago. That corridor, we're developing a refinery on that corridor. There is the fertilizer plant. There's supposed to be an airport on that leg. Till today, there is no cargo, there's no underground cargo rail or plan for it that I am aware of, right? There is a plan for a rail from Ekpe to CMS. That plan has not yet commenced, and the way infrastructure is built in this country is going to start at a slower pace and the development of infrastructure of facilities going on in that sector. So this corridor most likely is going to become as bad as Apapa is if we are not careful. And then businesses will begin to suffer again in the medium term and will start complaining. So we need to immediately, in the medium to long term, declare a state of emergency on infrastructure, adopt the style of the Arabs, the Dubais and co, and fix some of those, all these critical elements so that once there's a shock globally, it doesn't directly and immediately affect us, right? I mean, so these are some of the things that government needs to consider in the immediate. A lot of people are dying. The people in real estate, for example, facility management, a lot of them are shutting down businesses. They are changing their business model. They are closing shops. They are handing over. They are converting their facilities to self-service facilities. What's it called? Of course, auxiliary services to those facilities are also groaning. So it's a real problem, and at the heart of this problem is because we do not even have infrastructure in the first place.
That's really, I mean, the major takeaways you've raised there are the waivers. Expand those waivers, make it sector targeted, that people can feel that relief, particularly tax measures. And then you raise something fundamental about the corridor of Lekki. Good in developments there. We're going to avoid an Apapa. So apart from the executive order that has given the road access from, which the governor talked about, from Lekki access down, there's need to also look at a cargo arrangements. I know Ogun State is working at this cargo airport, but of course, if that airport's planned around Lekki access also has a cargo arrangement, to be very, very good. We just need to avoid the Apapa experience, because even on our journey there, we could see the build-up of massive traffic, and it will not be nice if you have such, and then it repeats again. We need to address that. And like you rightly said, we need to fix infrastructure like the Arabs, though the Arabs operate more of a emirate system that you have that kind of a command and control structure, but ours has to be a very solid consensus that we need to move forward in infrastructure. Finally, Mr. Ayo, in the next 30 seconds, what word do you have to say to SME owners and entrepreneurs in this challenging time?
So I want to tell MSME owners and entrepreneurs to have a plan B, right? Have a plan B, register your business outside the country, open bank accounts outside the country. Just have a plan B, to be honest, because the truth is that you'll be lying. I'm not an aspire to perspire man, right? Worst case scenario planning in strategy is what a lot of businesses are now doing. And to be honest, you have to plan for your business being able to survive if everything else fails in Nigeria. And that is having a plan B. And your plan B can even be Ghana here, it can be Togo, it can be Lome, it can be Cameroon. Thank you.
Well, that plan B, it's good to have a plan B, but your plan B already shows that we will have more activities out of the country than in Nigeria. So we have to make Nigeria work. We have to make Nigeria work so that we avoid this Japa mentality. We have to make Nigeria work. And thanks to the fact that people like you have stayed put in the country to support the good of businesses. So definitely, we just hope that things begin to align so we don't get to that phase where good businesses and investments which will have helped improve the economy are out to other parts of the continent and region. But thank you very much, Mr. Ayo-Bankole Akintujoye, for this interesting conversation on how SMEs can navigate this season of rising costs of electricity and fuel and other items that are affecting their existence. Thank you once again. I hope to get you on board as developments happen around the SME space. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And that was Mr. Ayo-Bankole Akintujoye, the convener of Lagos SME Bootcamp, speaking on how SMEs can navigate the rising cost of electricity and fuel in Nigeria. If you have comments or questions or suggestions, if you're an entrepreneur, you have some things to share, send them to your comments or questions or suggestions to Ottoabasi@prochange.com. We'll be glad to read them and respond to you. Also follow our website, www.prochange.com, to read our latest news articles, stories, and reports on the Nigerian economy. We also capture the MSME space broadly. You can engage us via social media platforms displayed on the screen. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching and have a nice day.